It is Wednesday, November 4. Welcome to CGN News. Haiti's President Jovenel Moïse has announced plans for a national debate on a new constitution for the French-speaking country. Moïse last month swore in the members of the Independent Advisory Committee for the development of the draft of the new constitution. He said that the draft constitution will now be debated, CMC News reported. Moïse had campaigned on constitutional reforms, and Haitians had voted to make changes to the existing constitution. Meanwhile, the United States government is stepping up pressure on Moïse to hold overdue legislative elections. He said following the referendum, regardless of the outcome, elections will be organized. Jamaica's tourism ministry says the decision by the U.S. Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, the CDC, to lift its no-sail order for ships in U.S. ports is a step in the right direction. Speaking with JIS News, Tourism Minister Edmund Bartlett said that the move is a win for Jamaica and other Caribbean cruise-dependent nations. He said that countries can now fast-track their preparations to meet all the expected protocols that will be required. Bartlett said that the CDC has put the onus on cruise companies to prove that their COVID protocols are working, with specific testing requirements and trial runs before passengers can return. The Barbados-based Caribbean Tourism Organization, CTO, has announced plans to conduct its first ever regional skills audit to assess the competencies of the Caribbean tourism workforce. The main goal is to help policymakers better understand how to effectively leverage human resource development for a more competitive industry. The region's premier financial institution, the Caribbean Development Bank, has approved funds from its special fund resources to help finance the project. The bank has supported other CTO projects in the past, including an almost $250,000 grant in 2017 through the Hospitality Assured program. The Supreme Court in Jamaica has awarded a landowner $65 million against the Jamaica Public Service, the JPS, for trespassing. JPS trespassed on the land by erecting its overhead power lines and poles, depriving the landowner from benefiting from a section of the property for rearing chickens. The ruling came after a 12-year legal battle between the owner and the island's only light and power company. The court said that the $65 million is to be paid with interest at the rate of 3% per annum starting from April 9, 2008. When contacted for a comment, the JPS told the Gleaner the matter was being reviewed by its legal team. Overseas now, the most polarized U.S. election in decades was on a knife edge Tuesday as President Donald Trump appeared to have held off predictions of a sweeping Democratic wave, but Joe Biden also scored key wins. Across a backdrop of the COVID-19 pandemic that has claimed more than 230,000 lives in the United States, a quick Biden triumph looked unlikely with key states too close to call. Trump enjoyed a slim but vital lead in Florida, widely considered a must-win to retain the presidency, despite opinion polls that had shown Biden edging even or ahead. Exit polls seen by AFP reporters showed Trump capturing swaths of the Latino vote, making strong gains among Cuban Americans in his relentless attacks against leftist leaders in Latin America and rhetorical attempts to link them to Biden. The U.S. election was plunged into chaos early Wednesday as President Donald Trump prematurely declared victory and sought Supreme Court intervention to stop vote counting. In a divisive election, Trump still needs key states to secure another 4-year term, the AFP reports. Shattering norms in the world's most powerful democracy, Trump alleged major fraud as he held an upbeat rally inside the White House's ceremonial East Room. The Republican tycoon said he would go to the Supreme Court because, quote, "we want all voting to stop," end quote. Republican Marjorie Taylor Greene, who expressed racist views and support for QAnon conspiracy theories in a series of online videos, has won a U.S. House seat representing Northwest Georgia. Her candidacy was bolstered by President Donald Trump, who has called her a future Republican star. Green was heavily favored in the Conservative district even before Democratic challenger Kevin Van Osdale suddenly dropped out in September, saying he was moving out of state. Green thanked her staff and asked supporters to pray for Trump to win re-election at a watch party Tuesday night streamed live on Facebook. People across the United States received anonymous robocalls in the days and weeks before Election Day, urging them to stay safe and stay home. Experts said the calls could be an attempt to scare voters into sitting out the hotly contested polls. The Federal Bureau of Investigation, the FBI, is investigating the calls, a senior official at the Department of Homeland Security told reporters on Tuesday. Authorities would not offer details. The automated calls were placed to residents in nearly 90% of U.S. area codes, according to an analysis by Umail, a tech company that makes anti-robocall software. Eta was downgraded to a Category 2 hurricane Tuesday, even as it continued to pummel Nicaragua, killing 2 people there and 1 in neighboring Honduras as it unleashed fierce winds and heavy downpours. The hurricane, which dropped from a Category 4 storm early in the day as it moved inland, hammered indigenous communities along the coast and caused heavy rains throughout much of Central America. Packing 110-mile-per-hour winds, Eta tore up trees and ripped roofs of homes in Bilwi, the biggest town on the northeastern coast, also known as Puerto Cabezas. Winds tore down the concrete perimeter walls of the town's baseball stadium and left a trail of fallen trees as dazed cattle and domestic animals wandered through the streets, AFP reporters said. A New Zealand author's book has been pulled from an online store after she criticized the Foreign Affairs Minister's traditional Maori tattoo. Olivia Pearson had tweeted that facial tattoos on a female diplomat was ugly and uncivilized. Nanaia Mahuta is the first female MP in New Zealand to have a Maori facial tattoo. She was appointed as minister in a recent cabinet reshuffle. Pearson's tweet sparked anger and calls for her book to be pulled. In response, prominent New Zealand online retailer Mighty Abe said it had withdrawn her book and would not be making it available again. Some New Zealanders with Maori heritage wear tattoos known as moko to mark their genealogy and heritage. Men's moko tend to cover their entire face, while women's moko cover their chin. That's it for CGN News. I'm Scott Wilson. Thanks for watching.